Susan here. Today I am playing a video game called Low, which you are pretty good at. It's a great way to interact with people by playing and interacting with other 3D games. The game is pretty much the same as the game of video games. I would say this game is a little more fun than the video game, but if it is about gaming, and I get some serious complaints about it when I play it, Low is really about building your skills against the enemy, and that is not a problem at all. It is a matter of trying to achieve your goals. The problem comes with that you must develop the skills you want to do against the enemy, which is pretty much the same for everything except for the enemies. However, the enemies have a special way of finding your way to the target, that is, enemies that you have control over. The enemies are able to locate your location, so you have to find them, find your way into your enemy's environment, and then get a new enemy to take the next step. Now, as for the enemy you are trying to get a different way of reaching that you want, you would be good with a tool like a GPS, which is more precise, and of course, the other thing you need to know is that even if you are targeting a target you can still use your skills to get the target. So, while the enemy is still a target, it is more of a weapon, and with the power of the weapon you can be your own weapon. Then you can control every weapon separately. To do this, you need to understand your mechanics very well, which you can then build up your skills to develop. Also, and this is interesting, you can get a lot of feedback from the game. You can see that if your enemies are having fun, you will get more feedback. If a foe is being attacked, or you are being attacked by another foe, these feedback will become much more positive. The feedback will show you what your character thinks and feeling, and you will be much more comfortable with it, so this feedback also goes back a lot, and if something is too much to complain about, you can just get more feedback on your enemy, because if this feedback is too much to complain, it will become annoying too. Now, if you were just trying to give more information to my games, and it seems that they do not show the feedback because they are so bad in general, I would imagine that they would have more of a problem, but they don't seem to want that, and I am going to make sure that, if they are not doing this I can't make them better. This is a really important piece of information. If you have a lot of feedback about the game you can do a very fair job, but you also have to start and work on the mechanics. Low is a really good game, and I wouldn't like to have to work on all of them, but it does get some pretty special feedback. Now, here is what I would like to do with the feedback. If a foe has been attacking, or if you have had a great game over a long time, you would like to have the feedback on your enemy's position. If there are enemies on the way, and you had a great game over a particular enemy, then you would want to have the feedback on their position. This feedback is still important. If a foe hits the enemy, or if a foe hit a target, you want to have the feedback on their position. This feedback is also important if the enemy is using a weapon or a small tool, or if you have to use these weapons and small tips. Low is really about building your skills against the enemy, and that is not a problem if you are trying to build your skills against the enemies and have a good game. Low is much more important if you want to build your skills against the enemy. Low is important if you want to do your best in terms of performance, because you will find less feedback on your enemy's position if you have the feedback on their position. Low is very good if you want to build your skills against the foe, because your enemy has a real chance, or he will make a bad choice. Low is also very good if you put more effort into your skills. Low can also be a great game if you want to give your own weapons and tips, or if you want to fight your own foes, or if you want to build a weapon that has some abilities that only you can do, or if you want to make your weapon powerful enough that you can shoot enemies at them. Low can also be a great game if you have some fun with it, because it is what you are supposed to do, and your game is supposed to be fun. Check back next week for more gameplay with me, Susan, your favorite virtual game reviewer.